Hello, this is Mario, and today we're going to be talking about how to install Drupal in a Windows computer. And before we can get started with Drupal, we need to first turn our computer into a web server. To do that, there is many ways you can do that, but we're going to install a software stack called WAMP, and WAMP stands for Windows, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. Apache, MySQL, and PHP is what Drupal needs in order to run properly. So what we're going to do is go to wampserver.com/en for English, and or I think the default is English. And what you do is you scroll down to the download section, and depending on which version of Windows you have, whether it's 64 or 32-bit, that's the type of installation package you're going to download. In this case, we're going to stick with the basic 32-bit, and I'm going to go ahead and this is version PHP 5.4 and a 32-bit version of that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the button here. What you'll see is this dialog box here that you see here. It says here you can download 32-bit version directly. Depending on which computer type you're using, if you're using a Windows 7 machine, most likely you will need to install a software package before you can install WAMP. Otherwise, you'll get errors and you won't be able to run the WAMP software. So in order to know which version of Windows you have, whether it's 32-bit or 64-bit, you can go to Start, and then you right-click on My Computer, and you click Properties, and if you scroll down, actually right here under System Type, it says right here is 32-bit operating system. So we know we have a 32-bit machine here. In your case, it may be at 64-bit. So then you would choose the 64-bit version of this software here. And this is a Microsoft software, by the way. So let me go ahead and first install this software. I'm going to click on the 32-bit link, and this takes us into the download page for Microsoft. I'm going to click download there, and down here we see that the system is trying to download the software, so I'm going to click on this down arrow and click Save As, and I'm going to drop this in my downloads folder. So I'm going to click Save there, and it says it's running scan, and it's finished downloading. So now I can click on Run to install the software, and click Yes there, accept the agreement, and this may take a little bit to finish depending on how fast your computer is. Okay, so installation is complete. Click Finish, and it looks like that part is done. So let me go back a couple times to WAMP server again. I'm going to click the download button again, and this time I'm going to just click on the download directly link to download WAMP. So in a few seconds here, you can see here the counting down here. It says in a few seconds I'll be prompted to save the WAMP files. And if you don't see that, that could mean many things, but if you don't see the window popping up saying you need to save the WAMP file, one thing you can do here says problems with the download. It says check your browser security bar or try a direct link. So we're gonna, actually there it is. It just came up now, so it may take a little while. It's a 34 megabyte file, so it may take a little while. Again, I'm going to go Save As, and I'm going to save it here, my download documents also. And again, this may take also a few minutes depending how fast your connection is. It looks here like it's going to take about a couple minutes. So I'm going to let this download and come back, and then I'll show you once the software has been downloaded. Okay. Okay, so our software completed downloading, and now I'm able to click the Run button here to begin the installation of WAMP. I'll do that, and I'm prompted to make sure that I want to make sure that I want to install the software. Yes, I do, and click Next at the Welcome window. Accept the agreement. WAMP is an open source software basically that you can download, so you can just go ahead and accept the agreement there. This is the location where WAMP will be installed, and this folder is important to remember because this is where at some point you'll need to go back and put all your Drupal files to begin the Drupal installation. So let me click Next here. It says that the folder already exists. That's because I was testing before and I installed WAMP, but since then I removed it, but it looks like the remove program didn't get rid of the folder, so I'm just going to overwrite the folder. I want to create a shortcut on my launch icon, on my quick launch, and also my desktop, just so I can have easy access to WAMP the next time I need to use it. Click Next, install. Again, this may also take a little while depending on how fast or slow your computer is. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to pause the recording and come back once it's finished. Okay, the software is pretty much done installing. The only thing that it's doing here is asking me which browser I use for my computer, and I use basically, in this case, I'm using Internet Explorer. So I'm just gonna, the system knows that I'm using Internet Explorer, so I'm just gonna click on Open, and it says, would you like to install the new WAMP server to homepage? No, I don't. And now it's going to ask, this window will come up. This is a Windows security box, and basically what it's trying to say, are you sure you want to let WAMP to have access to the internet and be able to run? Yes, you want to do allow access, just leave the box checked there. And here SMTP, just leave localhost the way it is. You can type your email address here if you like, or you can just leave it the way it is there. No problem there. Click Next, and now it says launch WAMP server now. So I'm gonna click Finish, and here it's asking us, are you sure you want to let WAMP run? Yes. And you won't see anything, but if you notice on the bottom of the screen, we have this icon here that when you first start WAMP, starts red, and as the server starts to get ready, then it turns green. And right now the server, even though the icon is green, our server is still not online. We need to actually put it online by clicking here and click on Put Online. And in a minute you'll see how the icon turns orange, and now it's turned green again. If you hover over it, now it says the server is online. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, that means is that now our computer is acting as a web server. Our computer is now able to run websites. So to show you that, I'm going to close Internet Explorer, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the WAMP server icon. Make sure that our server is now ready, and I'm going to go into the WAMP server icon, and I'm going to click on localhost. Basically, this is going to take us to the root folder of our websites. Although we don't have any websites, our server is ready for websites. So by going to localhost, we should see the window that you see here. And this is an indication that our web server is up and running and is ready to receive our websites. So this is an indication that our web server is up and running and it's ready for us to start adding our website. So the next step is to download and install Drupal. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to, on the browser here, I'm going to go to drupal.org. Okay. And from here I'm going to click on Get Started with Drupal. And down here on the left side of the screen you will see the Download Drupal button. And this will always show you the latest version of Drupal at the moment. So at the time of the recording of this video, the latest version was 7.22. So I'm going to click Download Drupal. And this takes me into the Download and Extend page for Drupal.org. And here you find a lot of great information about Drupal, statistics, and any bugs that are pending or things. The main thing here is on this downloads section here. What you want to do is you want to focus on the green shaded section, and because that shows you the latest releases and official and stable releases and production releases of Drupal. Stay away from the pink shaded area, because those are versions that are usually on test or development still, so they're not the official release of Drupal. Since we're using Windows, we're going to download the zip file. If you're using a Mac, you can download the tar file. So I'm going to go and click on the zip file. I'm going to click on Save As, and again I'm going to save this on my downloads folder. I'm going to click Save, and it's getting there now. It's scanning it, so it looks like it's downloading. So I'm going to click on View Downloads. Actually, that's not what I wanted. Let me close that. Let me actually try this here. I'm going to click Close there, and instead I'm going to go to my Downloads folder, where I save my Drupal installation files. Here's Downloads, and there's Drupal. This is a zip file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unzip this file, or extract the content of the file. I click on Extract All, and it's telling me where would I like this files to be extracted. So remember that C WAMP folder that we saw when we first installed WAMP? That's where we want to extract the file, the content of the Drupal zip file. So I'm going to browse. I'm going to choose My Computer and choose the C drive as my destination. And within the C drive, I'm going to see the WAMP folder. There it is. But we don't want to extract it just there. What we want to do is we're going to look for the root web server of our computer. And that is located directly under WAMP and www. So what you want to do is select that folder, and so I'm saying I want to extract the content of the zip file into the C WAMP www folder. I'm going to show the files. I click on extract. It should take a minute or two. So here it is. Here's what was extracted from the zip file, and it looks similar to what the zip file had, except the zip file is that this is a zip file, and you can tell by the icon it's got a little zipper there. And the reason is it doesn't say zip is because I'm hiding the extensions of the files. But here is just the folder, and it's inside our WAMP www folder. And if I open this, you can see these are all the installation files, or the core files for Drupal to run. So one thing I want to do before we start the installation of Drupal is I'm going to rename this folder to something that is easier to remember or type, and I'm just going to call it Drupal. The reason I did this is because the name that you assign to your folder is the name that you will type in the address bar of the URL of your browser. So you want to make sure that the name is easy to type and remember. So Drupal is easy enough to type it there. So what I need to do now, if I go now to remember, localhost is our default address for our web server, and if I now type Drupal, I see the Drupal installation page. In fact, if I just go to localhost, what you'll see here is on this page is you will see it says your projects. You will see that it says Drupal right there. So here you will be able to see any folders that you save inside your www folder. This is nice because you could be working on multiple Drupal websites at the same time and name each folder differently. So when you come to this page, you can say, okay, this time I want to work on this one folder, and you click the one website that you want to work on, and you'll be able to work with that website. So let me click Drupal again, and again we're back on the Drupal installation page. However, we can't install Drupal just yet, because in order to install Drupal we need a database, and so Drupal is a database driven system. So before you can install it, you need a database, and all you need is an empty database, just a shell of the database. Drupal will take care of it. Throughout the Drupal installation, Drupal will take care of the rest of adding tables and everything else for you. So how do you create a database? Well, you create a database by using phpMyAdmin, and that's a little application that comes with WAMP, which we installed the WAMP. So to get to phpMyAdmin, you click on the WAMP server icon again, and you will see a shortcut here for phpMyAdmin. I'm going to click that. After a while, you'll become familiar with how the addresses of these programs are. For example, remember the localhost is simply the root location of our web server. And to get to phpMyAdmin, you can simply type phpMyAdmin after localhost. Or you can just click on the little WAMP icon and choose phpMyAdmin. So since we have not assigned a username and password for MySQL, which is the database that Drupal uses, we're going to use the default username and password that comes with WAMP. And that is root as the username, and the password is just empty. I'm going to click OK, or I'm going to click Go. So this brings me into phpMyAdmin. You don't have to worry about most of the things that you see here. The only thing that you're concerned about is the databases. So you click on the databases, and under Create Database, I'm going to create a database, and I'm going to call it Drupal, and I'm just going to click Create. There it says Database Drupal has been created. That's it. That's all I need to do with phpMyAdmin. Now I can close this tab and get back to my Drupal installation page and start my installation at this point. So I'm going to click on Standard as the profile type and click on Save and Continue. We may have some issues that we need to address before we can proceed with the installation. So I'm going to walk you through those issues and show you how you can correct some of the problems that you may encounter as you start working with Drupal. For whatever reason, the site is not responding properly. Let me cancel this for now. I want to make sure that my connection settings are okay here. I don't want proxy settings. See, let me try again. Okay, good. Okay, English. Oh, by the way, what I did there is I went into the little gear that you see here, Tools. I went into Internet Options, went to the connection settings, and then LAN settings. And because I'm home and I don't have any type of proxy, and you don't worry about what proxy is, it's just ways of managing the connections. I don't need to have any of these boxes checked. That's why I cleared the box that was checked on top. I click OK and OK. So I'm going to select English as the language. And now Drupal is asking us for the database name. And remember, we created a database. We called the database Drupal. And the username for the database, since we didn't specify any username for our phpMyAdmin or MySQL, we're going to use the default username and password that comes with the WAMP, remember? So we're going to use root and an empty password again. We're going to ignore the advanced options for now. Save and continue. Okay, so what's happening here is now the installation process has begun, and now the system is installing all the different packages that come as part of Drupal core. And so this, depending on how fast your computer is, it could just take a few seconds or it could take a couple of minutes. Just let it run, and once all the packages have been installed, the next step that you'll see here is the site information section. Here's where you can basically specify a name for your website. I'm going to call this one my Drupal website. You can leave the email address as your email address, or you can specify any other type of email address. The username here under site maintenance account, the username that you're asked to provide is basically going to be the administrator username for your website. This is the username and password that you'll be using to log into your Drupal website and do administrative tasks like create users, create content, and do all the admin tasks that you'll be doing. So make sure that you remember this username and password. I'm going to just call it admin. And I leave that email address there, it doesn't matter. And the password, I'm going to specify my password. And I need to confirm it again here. And then I'm going to scroll down and choose the country. I'm going to press U, so it drops to the United States. And there it is. And everything else just leave as default. Click on Save and Continue. Okay, looks like we got a couple errors here, and the reason is because I overlooked at the email addresses that we were using here, and they were not valid email addresses. So what I did here now is I went ahead and replaced those with my real email address, and now I'm going to go ahead and click on Save and Continue again. Okay, so there you go. The next screen we see is this Drupal installation complete. Congratulations, you installed Drupal, and visit your new website. I'm going to click there. So there you go. There is our brand new Drupal website. So this concludes our video on installing WAMP and Drupal 7. Thank you.